In the course of writing this book, I didn't want people just to hear from me. I wanted them to hear from dozens and dozens and dozens of people, almost all of them Republicans who were appointed by Trump or were Republican members of Congress, about what would happen in a second term. And in the course of those interviews, someone brought up this idea of a mercenary force again. A top official on Trump's National Security Council said that after I left, the idea came back again, and that Trump desperately wanted to create his own armed mercenary group, so much so that the NSC had to scramble to write these memos and brief Trump and explain to him why it was a bad idea. And they ultimately shut it down. But what was clear to them is that he had this deep envy of Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Putin's own Wagner group, right? His sort of unaccountable, band of ex-military fighters that he directly controlled. Now, we've all seen how that worked out for Vladimir Putin, but Trump wanted his own group like that. And a number of other officials, former top counterterrorism officials, and folks from different departments and agencies said that they also had seen plans on the shelf to deploy the U.S. military domestically, to deploy DHS security forces domestically with political aims. And that's what they worry about in a second term. And it's what I worry about in a second term. I mean, one of the people I spoke to for this book, who was on Trump's National Security Council, appointed by the president, said, look, in a second term, they will try to take DHS forces and they will send them to polling places in the name of election security. But the goal will be to have armed individuals at the polls to intimidate the political opposition. And Ben, we saw this in Arizona in the last election, these so-called ballot watchers, these militiamen who showed up with guns, and their goal wasn't to protect the polls from violence. Their goal was to scare Democrats away from voting. And to have one of Trump's own senior National Security Council officials say in a second term, he'll do that, and he'll do that with official state security forces, is, I think, deeply, deeply disturbing. It's the kind of thing you would hear about in a story about a third world republic, about a North Korea or an Iran, not the United States. But that's the moment that we're in, and that's the possibility we're facing.